All right, talk dirty to me. Hey, what's up? How you guys doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I want to talk about Microsoft, man. Microsoft can't catch a break. And it's sort of because they keep rake stepping. It's one of the rarest times to watch a $1 trillion company constantly rake step their way into one misfortune into another misfortune. The beginning of the week, it started off with them shutting down some beloved studios and then coming out and saying a lot of corporate speak for we closed them because they were good but they weren't making money. And it's just like, you sure? Because it sounds like you guys paid a lot of money for Bethesda and now it's time for you guys to start seeing some revenue return on that, and you're not. Maybe because of your poor business decisions. I'm not saying that you're
Beta.
but it sounds like you guys aren't doing your thing. But Microsoft is apparently really good at breaking promises because they made some other promises and some other adulations about things they aspired and wanted to do, but now, whether they know it or not, might be going back on their word. Microsoft AI obsession is jeopardizing the climate ambition. Microsoft producing a lot more planet heating pop pollution now than it did when it made a bold climate pledge back in 2020. Its greenhouse gas emissions were actually around 30% higher in fiscal year 2023. So in 3 years, they've managed to increase their greenhouse gas print. And it's because, and this is, man, if this doesn't tell you how much AI just kind of blipped onto their radars and people weren't really thinking about this stuff, and really just the flimsiness and underbaked preparations that went into it, this is going to be quite telling, showing how hard it could be for the company to meet climate goals as it simultaneously races to be the leader in AI. You're not going to win, bro. Relax. Training and running AI models in the increasingly energy hungry endeavor and the impact it is having on the climate is just starting to come into view. Microsoft's latest sustainability report is a good case study in the conundrum facing big tech companies that made a slew of climate pledges in recent years but could wind up polluting more as they turn their focus to AI. Back in 2020, Microsoft set a target of becoming carbon negative. What a bold claim. By the end of the decade. So they got 4-6 years. To translate the jargon, it's a pledge to slash greenhouse gas emissions by more than half and then capture a greater amount of carbon dioxide emissions than it would produce. It was an audacious it was an audacious commitment to make at the time, considering carbon capture technologies were barely becoming into existence. The company would also have to spur the development of way more renewable energies onto the power grid where it operates. Now it looks like the company's recent obsession with AI, that's a powerful word to use, recent obsession, because all the big tech companies seem, if you don't have the word AI, there's literally a stat to show this. If you do not have the word AI in your investor calls or your donation calls or any quarterly earnings or any fiscal cycle reporting, your revenue and your investment and your stock drop 13%. Even if you had an increase in revenue, your stocks will still drop. And that correlation might be a reach out of this universe, but it's kind of telling of the times. It's sort of like when the NFT thing was going on. This crazy, like a company say, hey, we have these NFT things we have to push out because we have a contractual obligation. Like, no, just let it die, bro. Don't do that to your reputation. Just pay the difference and get it over with. Its recent obsession with AI is making it much harder to achieve. Microsoft invested more than $13 billion in OpenAI to date and is turning everyone into a prompt engineer. That's great. For generative AI, when the new feature in Copilot for Microsoft 365, The Verge's Tom Warren just launched a newsletter called The Notepad to keep up to date with all things Microsoft and AI. Did you just put a shameless plug in your article? Who wrote this shit? Hold on. Justine? That better be your husband. Why you over here putting plugs in your shit? I mean, I guess what is it for? Hey, hey, you know what? I'm plugging you right now. Good. Go watch it. In 2020, it unveiled what we called our carbon moonshot. That was before the explosion of artificial intelligence. Microsoft's president, Brad Smith, said in an interview with Bloomberg. So, in many ways, the moon is 5 times as far away as it was in 2020. If you just think of our own forecast for the expansion of AI and electric need, diving into data in Microsoft's sustainability report, you can see just how far it's gone in the wrong direction. It's pumped in 15.357 million metric tons of carbon dioxide over the last fiscal year, comparable to an annual carbon pollution of Haiti. God damn, one company. Even more energy intense. The data centers used to train AI are even more energy intensive than traditional data centers that already gobble up a lot of electricity to run servers and cooling systems to prevent overheating. And Microsoft has plans to build a whole lot more of those data centers now that it's all in. Now that it's all in on AI, the company planned to spend $50 billion over the past fiscal year in order to meet the AI ambition. It's expected to surpass in the following year, Bloomberg reports. You want to know what's maddening is if you're watching this and you were one of the people when I said we don't have enough power, and by power, effectively time or energy, to really meet the demands that AI is going to request, and let's just be clear that we're talking about destroying the planet and speeding up our utilities and using up utilities that are needed during heat waves for people and all of that good stuff, just so you can use your AI glasses or your AI pen or your AI phone to figure out what if the store in front of you has a discount. You know, is having whatever AI has to offer currently worth the damage that they've done to be able to make such a bold claim? And this is the thing about making claims and statements. As this is why we need regulation from the stance of, and I'm not a person who's really big on clamping down on regulations, but when you allow companies to set their own rules with no consequences, then they do stuff like this. They just shrug their shoulders and say, "Oh well." 3 years ago, AI wasn't it wasn't even a blimp on their radar, because they would have at least been able to make a tangible notice of like, oh, maybe we should calculate that into our sustainability report. That's not the case. And the fact that we trusted them to do right this is us getting the crow, the hay or the crow, or eating our crow right now, because they're never going to do what's best for the people. They're going to do what's best for their bottom line. And this is like getting mad at a cat for climbing on shit. This is what they do. They make money. So my beef isn't with Microsoft, because when you live with a liar and a cheater, you just expect them to lie and cheat. My beef is with our elected officials letting this happen, because they lobby and get all these things in here. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I wanted to bring this up because not only are we as a group of people seeing this energy deficiency issue starting to become more alarming, the companies that made the bold claims to be the arbiters of green energy and renewable energy and carbon negative, they're going back on their promises for a little bit of money. And we're going to run into an issue where companies are going to be battling against civilians for power. And how much you want to bet when it's 35 degrees outside, you're snowed in, and your power goes out, that if you use your phone to Google emergency services information, it'll work, because their servers didn't go down, because they don't have to fight for power, because they have all of it. Let that be something to back in mind. Clap about it. Think about it. Like, share, subscribe.